Right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Spirit Cafe Sessions podcast with Nikki
I'm
and
always going to have
Kim.
a laugh. Just doing a little bit of cleansing.
Yeah, I did that
People
before.
really,
We always
people need to really
go.
watch our videos because they'll see me like fall in my
Yes.
chair. They'll see me
Yep.
trying to lift
Yep. Yep.
things. Another
Yep.
one that
Yep.
recently, I think I was trying to put something over the camera. Like people really need to see
Yeah.
this even
Yeah.
for like
I think it's
entertainment.
funny.
Yeah. Like,
It's
come
funny.
on.
It is funny. So today's episode, it comes out on International Women's Day.
Hmm.
Yeah, right?
March
I
8th.
know, how
Yeah.
exciting. March
Hmm.
8th. And the episode is actually geared towards women. And we didn't even plan it that way, which is awesome. So we're really excited to talk about this episode. First of all, just really want to throw out there, thank you everybody who's joined Kim's lives and my lives over the last couple of weeks. We are having a lot of fun on them. If you have any suggestions for lives, people did suggest a manifestation live, so I combined tarot manifestation for you guys. But if you have anything else that you suggest or that you would like me and Kim to talk about, or do when it comes to a form of spirituality, or LOA, the law of assumption, then let us know and we'll do it. Like we like your ideas. We want to know what you guys want to hear, and we will do
And if
it,
you want to
right?
do it, a post like a live, or if you'd rather have a podcast, just let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. 100%. So, you know what tea I'm drinking today?
What
And I can't
tea?
believe I've not even talked about this tea or this tea store. So it's lychee tea.
Okay.
And it's from a tea store in Vancouver, no, Victoria Island, called the Silk Road. And my brother sends it to me, and every time I go there, anyway, it's amazing. It's a black tea, which is probably bad because it's going to keep me up, but that's okay. Um, and I love this place. I love this place. I'm going to actually um, put it down below of this episode because you can order from it, and you will never be disappointed with any of the flavors or selections. My mom's even addicted to this tea. So I'm drinking lychee tea today, which tastes exactly like
Where on
lychees
the island?
with just a smidgen of
Where on
honey.
the island does your brother live?
Victoria.
Actually, Victoria.
He used to live in Vancouver, and then he moved to Victoria, and he loves it there. He loves BC.
Hmm.
Um, and no intention of moving back to Ontario where I am. Maybe one day in the future if he has to, but he's definitely a British Columbia person. He is not an Ontario person. I am an Ontario, New York type of person. I'm very Eastern. He's very Western. But he loves it. He loves it there. And my cousin, actually, she lives in Calgary and she loves it. She loves it there. She doesn't live too far from Kim, but she loves it, including the snow. Kim, just so you're aware.
I don't like the snow, but I was gonna say, because we have so many similarities. Um,
Yeah.
my sister lives on Vancouver Island too.
Not even shocked. None of this, nothing shocks me ever when things align with me and
She's
Kim.
not coming
Not
back.
a thing. Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't, and honestly, I don't blame them. There was a time where I actually thought about moving to BC too, but I am a European Eastern type person. That's
Yeah.
just,
My
it's just
sister
me.
moved to Nanaimo. She would go there in the
Oh,
summer,
nice.
and then she
Yeah.
moved there after she got her bachelor's in science. I think she got her master's in science
Okay.
there. And she works for
Okay.
the
She likes it.
federal government in Department of Fisheries. So
That's funny. My brother works for the government.
really, the federal government too?
He works, he's gonna kill me. Stop talking about me on your podcast. No.
Good. I know you're listening.
Um, right? He works with the wildfire department,
Okay.
and he evacuates the cities and the towns that get too close to it. So his job can be very stressful, but very interesting, and he likes it. And yeah,
Cool.
so that's it.
Big
That's all
shock.
I'll say about my brother.
Big shock
Yeah.
that we both
That's all I'll say about my
have our
brother.
siblings that
I
are
know. Okay. I did pull cards for the week.
Mm.
We are firmly in a Mercury retrograde that is quite emotional, so none of this surprises me. Two cards came out, the Ten of Swords and the World card. Now, here's the thing. The Ten of Swords does vary. The person is stabbed in the back with 10 swords. This is an ending. But this is an ending that usually comes when we have perhaps been holding on to something too tightly, and it might feel a very aggressive ending, and it might feel like we've hit rock bottom. But the thing with the Ten of Swords is there is nowhere to go but up when this card pops up in a reading. So you could be feeling right now, for the majority of the collective, that you are feeling like you've lost something, there's no hope, that over, it's done, it's finito. I can assure you, with the World card coming out with it as I shuffled, that's not the case, because the World card is telling me there's a new cycle starting in your life, a new energetic cycle that is going to bring you something even better. And I know right now you might not believe it, but I'm telling you it will. And whatever you lost, it also does not mean that it is not going to be returned, because it is very, very, what was I going to say? It's just it's common knowledge that when we leave things, either situations or people, a lot of the times those situations and people come back into our lives when they rise with us, right? So whatever you lost right now, this whole the new cycle starting could be that what ended, if it was a relationship, it ended because that cycle in that relationship is over, and there will be a new one beginning after things have balanced out for both people in the connection, right? If you've lost your job, it could be because that job was not suitable for you anymore. There is something better out there for you that is going to help you, could help you reach more people, could help you expand. So we have to think about endings that way, in a sense, right?
All right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, like, and people need to understand, endings don't always mean bad,
No,
you know?
they do not.
Really, they just mean another door or another window that's opening, or another
That's
opportunity,
right.
opening for a fresh opportunity.
And a lot of the time, even better than the last, right? Even though at the time we might not think that.
No, and you know what? Spirit knows what you need. So just trust it.
That's right. That's right. That is right. Now, this episode on International Women's Day is entitled The Fear of Being Seen. For some people, that correlates with the famous phrase, the witch wound.
Mhm.
Now, the witch wound, yes, it took its basis from the Salem witch trials, but basically, the fear of being seen is it means that we haven't accepted who we fully are. You know, the good, the bad, and that it comes from an array of reasons why. You know, generational traumas, our own traumas from feeling abandoned when we were a child, from feeling rejected, from feeling emotional instability, basically all the core wounds that we all go through at one point as a human being on this planet, really kind of push us down. And what we find, and Kim and I notice, and hopefully a lot of our viewers notice, is that the witch wound, the fear of being seen, affects women more than it affects men. And it's been a struggle for decades, if not centuries, for women to stop fearing being seen, right? In any capacity, especially spiritually, religiously, even, especially if you think about Joan of Arc. If you just think about Joan of Arc's story, that everybody knows that story. Look at that. Look at that. She did as a child have that fear of being seen. You know, they didn't, her family's like, no, you're not talking to God. You're not, no, none of that is happening. Because of the fact that, persecution happens. And her story is remarkable because she stopped caring, and she talked about God, and she spoke about God, and she fought for that stuff. Ultimately her story ended quite, tragically, but a wonderful, wonderful story about fighting the fear of being seen, right?
Well, and it comes like with religion too. There's not a lot, like if you go back in history, most of the ministers, the reverends, all them, they're men, right? In the Catholic Church, that is a father.
Oh yeah.
That's not a woman. I know many religions have now started, but it's almost like how when you talk about your doctor, you assume it's a man. Talk about a nurse, you assume it's a woman,
Yes.
right? Say
Yeah.
reverend, oh, you assume that it's a man. So like
Mhm.
it's like
Yeah.
women, um, and the women who pushed back against that, more historically, it's getting better. Uh, they
Hmm.
were labeled as, difficult.
Right.
Yeah,
They
like they're just crazy. And then that's when like the witchy stuff come, especially if they had ideas, or things that were not wanting people not wanting it to get out. Um,
100%.
and I do have one that I actually want to bring up because this woman is very huge in the modern spiritualist movement. And her name is Emma Hardinge. So it's Hardinge, Britain. So she was a spiritualist. She was an editor. She was born in 1823. And she started doing mediumship through like the trance, and she did it with his name is Robert Owen, who was, coincidentally enough, until later on in his life, he was an atheist and a socialite,
Very common.
and a socialist, sorry, socialist and an atheist. And towards the end of his life, he became a spiritualist. So she channeled what we call the seven principles of spiritualism. And if you listen to my service, there are seven principles. She has them done. I think it started off as five, but they made it into seven. And, when you talk about her, people talk like the occult and, things like that. And like none of this is a cult.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so
No, guys, Kim is not in a cult. I'm just gonna let you know that
no,
it's not a
no,
cult.
no, no.
Oh, far from
No.
that.
So she channeled these and they're very similar. I'm going to read the ones we do at the church because they're much, the language is very antiquated. When you go back to 1820, she passed away in 1899. So,
Hmm.
the language, and most churches do kind of make them, set them to be part of their,
Hmm.
like, just to make it more understandable. So I'm just going to
Yeah.
read what she has. And like I
Okay.
said, I always do this a Sunday service or if we do stuff. So there are, we say, as spiritualists, we have adopted the following principles. And these are, again, these were done through trance, channeled from Robert Owen. All right. So as spiritualists, we have adopted the following principles: a divine source recognized as God. So you can
Hmm.
call God, we call it God, you can call it creator, infinite being,
Hmm.
whatever. Number two is the unity of all life. So we're
Cute. I
all
like that one.
connected. Okay. Communication,
Hmm.
guidance, and healing from the spirit world. So that's what we talk about, that it's from, we get stuff from the spirit world. We talk to spirit world, helps us
Hmm.
heal. And that's funny too, because a lot of people don't understand that a lot of doctors and a lot of these things that are invented or found here um, are brought from spirit. Spirit has figured these things out and have come through to whoever's doing it. So they'll work with surgeons, they'll work with scientists or whatever to get these things. Okay. The next one is the continuous existence of the spirit. So we pass away, we don't die, we're not gone. We
We're infinite.
we're
We're infinite.
still, we just basically move behind the
We
the
are, by the way.
shaded shower curtain. All right. Now, this is one's very big for me: personal responsibility for every thought, word, and action. So that's like taking responsibility for yourself, okay? And the things you think, Nikki will tell you, things you think, things you say, all those things produce what you're doing. So if you're going to be negative, you're going to hear negative, right? Reward and consequence for all deeds according to God's natural laws. So the natural laws, you know, you do it,
Yep.
just it's,
Do
and
good.
that's my favorite, like
End of
even
story.
with children, and raising children and stuff like that. Natural consequences is the best. I love natural consequences, right? Like if you're going to do something and you're going to do it wrong, if I don't have to tell you to do something, and your natural consequences, like something's broken, you're like, oh, sorry, you did it, right? So life is like that, right? Like you need to know that this is, reward and consequence for that. And eternal progress is open to every spirit. So this is all open to us. And then we say freedom of interpretation of the seven principles is acknowledged. So if there's anything in there that doesn't sit with you, any of the wording, you don't have to take it, or you can interpret it
Mm-hmm.
however feels good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but this is a woman who would have fought a lot, to try to not be labeled a witch or, whatever.
Crazy.
There's other mediums who did channel and do trance work too back then as well. And, men and women, but, the women, I believe, found it harder because it's harder to find,
Worse.
especially back then, it's like, oh, well, you should
Worse.
be making supper or,
Babies.
um, shouldn't be having seances. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, doing all that stuff. So, uh,
You know what's very interesting about that? So just a tidbit, not sure if anybody knows this, but yeah, they shouldn't be having seances. It's not, it's not moral, it's not ethical, blah blah blah. But do you guys know how common it was for people in 1910 to 1920 to actually get together and have seances as a form of a social gathering? It was obscenely normal for high society women to gather their friends at an evening, that so many houses back in those days actually had a little room devoted to seances where they would hire a medium, which is really ironic because, as Kim says, in that time, if you described yourself as a medium or you did trance meditation, what happened? You were crazy, but yet behind closed doors, you were entertainment. Sorry, I just had to throw that because I thought that was very ironic and very
no,
interesting.
and that's the thing, right? A lot of it was very, hush hush. I believe most of them were by invitation only. You kind of had to
That's
get
right.
in. And you can find this. You can find stuff about her. You can find stuff
Link
about,
her. I'm gonna link her.
okay, and all of the, you know, the seances and stuff like that. You can There's all over the internet. Like they got pictures. They've got, some of this and some stuff. Sometimes they have like little videos or sound stuff if they're doing the trance, or whatever. But a lot of it has been recorded. So, to if you're interested in it, check it out. And it does actually, the way they kind of have it. I think it's because of what I was told up until I knew. I still find it a little creepy. I don't know why, because I do it, but when I see them doing it and it's like dark
Oh,
and
it's
the
okay.
tables and it's kind of
Yes,
like black and white. Well, it's not kind of black and white.
I
It's like black and
understand.
white.
Okay.
I do find it a little bit creepy too. But
Mm-hmm.
they're, these are women. She's a woman who did it in her, did this because it was something that she was drawn to, something that she did. And it's something now that all spiritualists use.
Mm-hmm.
All of them,
Oh
all
yeah.
spiritualists across the world. If you are in the religion spiritualism, you followed the seven principles. It's like the 10 commandments, but it's the seven principles. And
I love
it's
that.
pretty neat. Like that was a woman. So, yeah, I thought. So I think she's pretty cool for International
I
Women's
love
Day.
that. Yeah, there's so many women out there. Some that most people don't even realize. Yes, there is the Salem witch trials. I mean, of course, everyone knows about that. Bridget Bishop, Sarah Good, all of those ones prosecuted because they believed in something that was outside of what was in their community, or they were prosecuted because they used. Herbs instead of medication. They kept it quiet because they knew if somebody found out, hey, I'm going to use aloe for this burn instead of this cloth and whatever, that I'm going to be perceived as a witch or whatnot. there is that collective fear, and there was that collective fear that grew within women. So like I did find a list of all these women. Most of them I did know. There's even authors, people like Virginia Woolf. That's a big one. Everyone knows who Virginia Woolf knows. Everyone kind of knows her story. I mean, I hope they still teach it in school. Another one, she wrote and spoke about women's creativity, about their constraints in society. She never conformed, and she was prosecuted, she was criticized, but she spoke up, right? She spoke up, and her story of course also ended tragically, because back in the
Oh, Nicole, you're muted.
was weird. I don't know why my mic went off that
Yeah, it
way.
just went off.
That's weird. Anyway, okay, well, I'm back on anyway. But in that time, in the time of Virginia Woolf and the Salem witch trials and whatnot, it was different. People were prosecuted much more easier. It was quite scary for women to speak up. It was quite scary for women to be their authentic selves. And now, of course, we are in a different time. More women are speaking up. More women are braver. More women, they're not so scared to declare that they're into spiritualism over being Catholic, or that they're Wiccan. They're not scared to declare these things. But what's interesting is most women feel confident to declare things more spiritually and religiously, but they are not confident to declare things in other areas of their life, which is interesting. Nobody's scared anymore of saying that they are a Wiccan, or, not saying nobody. There are some people who are, of course there are, but
Mhm.
majority of people are not. But people are scared to be authentic.
Oh yeah.
And and for women it shows up in such interesting ways. And I found, I'm such a dork every time I say this, I know, guys, but bear with me. I did find, of course, an article in Psychology Today that specifically talked about the witch wound, in a sense, the fear of being seen in women appears in their daily lives. Okay. And it's interesting because I also found it on Resilient Roots Psychotherapy. And I'm going to link that site. I'm going to link that article for you guys. And it shows up in such ways that once I read, I see it in my friends, I see it in people I work with, and I saw it in myself. But when we have that fear of being seen, of truly being seen by the people that we love, or by our clients, if we're on a platform or whatnot, it absolutely shows up as self-sabotage, procrastination. We avoid certain opportunities. We avoid change by saying that we're not ready. That drives me nuts.
Oh, how many people
That
aren't
when
ready to
people,
do stuff?
oh my God, you like, in certain situations, yes, you might not be ready, especially when those situations have something to do with a form of abuse. I understand. But when I hear someone say they're not ready to start a new job, they're not ready for this, it's not that you're ready. You are ready. You are just scared.
Yeah.
And what on the other side of fear, I am telling you guys, on the other side of fear is, it's phenomenal. But the way that we are so scared to take those steps, that's a wound that we have. Okay, there is a fear of us being seen, because to leave a relationship
Hmm.
when we're not ready, in quotations, to leave a job when we're not ready, in quotations, that opens something up, and that changes who we are, and that puts the attention on us, right? We compare. That's another thing I read. There's such a big emphasis on the fact that when we're scared to be seen because we compare ourselves to other people, doesn't have to be celebrities. I'm talking about, I don't want to start this business because I know like nothing about it, and look at these people, they know everything, they're so successful. I want to be in a relationship, but my last couple of relationships really sucked. But these people are in great relationships. I don't want to compare it. I'm just going to stay single the rest of my life. Comparison is a killer,
Oh,
and comparison ends more dreams than
I
anything.
can tell you, even with me, um, I have had the instances where we've done stuff at the church or whatever, and I've asked for people readings for people who are just kind of new to it, and they have been terrified to give a reading to me because they're
because
scared.
of your
Yeah,
experience.
like they're scared that, maybe they're not going to do a good enough job or whatever. And
Hmm.
like I don't understand that because I am not I'm the one who encourages people.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I like to just get readings because I like to get readings, right? Like, and I'm
Hmm.
not gonna,
It's fun.
unless you're completely off and don't have, and you're kind of, and I know you're not working. I'd never say it. Like, I'd never ever say anything because you are developing. And like I've said before, it's all baby steps.
Hmm.
You're not, this is all working. So, you know, and a lot of it is too because these people, for women, your spiritual beliefs or whatever, your religious beliefs, like this could force you to be like killed, force you to like divorce,
Cast out.
because they're gonna say like, oh, you're possessed or there's witchcraft or whatever. So like or they're being
Possessed. I
abused. They
love
get
that.
like rejected by their family, or they would get
Hmm.
abused. Um,
Hmm.
they would lose their children, because, oh, well, if you're going to do that, you know, you're gone. If you're not going to be in this
Hmm.
religion or you're not going to do this, well, we're going to take your children away from you. Um,
Hmm.
and these are the things that these women were just doing. Um, and that's why they were scared to do it. And I think like it's still part of like a woman wound, right? Like the witches wound women,
Hmm.
because we're still carrying that trauma from history as women. Like I think it was like 1973, 74. It wasn't until then that women could actually get a mortgage, for Pete's sakes, like in
Yep.
Canada. Like, come on, man.
Yep.
So you're telling me, a single mom or a single woman couldn't adopt a child, you know, like
In some places, they still can't.
no. And
Right?
yeah, absolutely. Like it's still like in our society.
Yeah,
And that's
it is.
a lot of the reason why no one wants to come out with, you know,
News. No, it's true
you
though.
know.
That all that are reasons why people keep themselves small, in
Mhm.
a sense, as I call it,
Mhm.
right? It is why they procrastinate.
Yep.
Because all this is procrastination. We're hesitant. That's another thing I read. We're hesitant to move forward to things because of the comparison. We lack boundaries. Oh my God, that
Oh
like
yeah.
we lack boundaries because my cat because we're scared that if we put those boundaries in place, people are going to, as you mentioned, call us
Yep.
difficult.
Or leave you.
We or leave you. We people please. We
Mhm.
people please to get people to like us
Yep.
so that when we do maybe one day make these changes, take this leap of faith to open this business, to learn this new thing, to leave this religion, to move into here, that it well, let's take this, they can't be mad at us because I've been so nice to them this all these years and years, so they're going to support me. All these things show up as a fear of being seen, and or manifests in a sense as a fear of being seen.
Mhm.
Another thing we have is, I read, we withdraw socially.
Oh yeah.
We're so nervous that we're going to say the wrong thing when it comes to certain situations in our life that we avoid them.
Yep.
We avoid them, even though we want to speak up. We want to disagree with something someone says, but we fall back, right? Because again, the fear of being seen. So it's interesting how different it is now compared to back in the day, yet at the same time, kind of similar and still affecting women
Mhm.
more than men.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm going to die on that hill. I'm not saying men don't go through this. I know that some do. I'm aware. But I'm sorry, it still affects women more than men. And I'm pretty sure we can see that
Well,
when it comes to what's going on in the States with a certain president and some files that have
mhm.
been, put out there for the world to see, and how it took so long for people to believe women and how certain women were terrified to be seen because they would not be taken seriously.
Yep.
Still happening, mostly to women. Not saying it doesn't, because we all know what happened with the Johnny Depp and Amber situation. Nobody believed him either, right?
No.
Like it was a struggle for him too. So it does happen to men
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. But
It's hard for men. Like,
this episode is
yeah.
go
Yeah.
ahead.
Like, no, but like, That's the thing. We do understand that it is hard for men because just like they believe in women
Mhm.
should have this, this, and this, men
Mhm.
are supposed to be the strong ones. They're supposed to be the ones that aren't
Masculine.
manipulated. Yeah, they're not the ones. But like there are so many men that are abused and they're too scared,
Hmm.
like they're too embarrassed to tell their families, they're too embarrassed. And then, it turns them into not, like really, unfortunately, very
Hmm.
sad people because they don't think anybody believes them. And then they just do their self sabotage. But
Of
like
course.
with me, even being a minister in spiritualism, like I'm finding it challenging to have relationships with people that I don't know. Like if, starting to kind of like date or whatever, like when do I
Hmm.
mention that I do this? Because, do you think that I'm trying to rip people off? Do you think that like, cause none of that,
Oh yeah.
but it really affects, and
Hmm.
I'm really nervous to say anything to people. And I don't know how much to open up because I don't want someone to just judge me because of that when they don't know, because I'm very different than what I think you would stereotypically think, right? So,
I like that you said that. Do you want to know why?
why?
Because I read something one time and it was about this and I can't remember where I read it. It doesn't matter, but it stuck through me and it was basically the fear of being seen is often the fear of being judged,
Mm-hmm.
not the fear of visibility itself. I remember reading that and being like, "Oh my God," because it's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fear of being judged. It's not the fear of
Yeah.
visibility, but we think it
Yeah.
is because we don't understand. So I like you hit the nail on the head with that
Well, it's hard, right?
that
When
story.
especially when you're kind of trying to build a relationship of some sort with somebody, and then suddenly they kind of are questioning who you are and your morals and everything
Hmm.
else because of, without even really investigating or giving you an opportunity, right? To
Yeah.
discuss your stuff. So, I'm very selective and, like it's just very hard, like,
No, it is.
it,
It is. It is. As open-minded as people are with spirituality, most people these days, I should say, not all, of course, some are. It still takes a lot to put your craft out there,
mm-hmm,
whether it's Kim's mediumship, whether it's my tarot, whether it's somebody who's listening's tarot, their mediumship, their Reiki, whatever it is. Though people are more accepting, it is still a gamble to put that out there
well,
for, especially if you're a woman. It's a gamble.
people are going to be more accepting if you said you were an atheist than
Oh,
if you say you're a spiritualist, right? Like it's like, oh,
yeah, 100%.
okay, like how is that fair, you know
That's actually very accurate because I got to tell you something. When do tarot, I don't do tarot the normal way. I don't. It's not a prediction thing for me. I read the energy, and I work on energetic patterns, and I work with what I know about quantum mechanics, and it's always been like that. But I didn't know that until 7 years ago, when I learned what quantum mechanics and quantum entanglement meant. When I really learned what it meant, that's when I realized, oh my God, I've always read tarot that way. That's weird. Until like when I started reading tarot for friends and family when I was in my 20s, because I didn't get public until what, 2 years ago or something. Um, it's interesting that you said that, Kim, because when I read it, everybody thought it was woohoo, right?
mm-hmm.
Whatever they thought. There were lots of comments
Yeah.
made. And now I didn't care because it didn't stop me because clearly I've been reading for 20
Yeah.
years. So it never stopped me. I don't care what people think or say. I never have since I was a kid. I don't know. Maybe that part of my brain is broken, but I've never cared. But it wasn't until I started to tell people how I read and how I read more logically tarot than I do the woohoo way, as people will call
Mm-hmm.
it, that people started to take me a little bit more seriously and less judgy because they found out that I read in a more logical way, which I thought was always very interesting to me because it shouldn't have taken that for people to judge me less
Mm-hmm.
and accept it more,
Yeah.
but it did.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, Nine times out of 10, the people who accept me, they have no idea what quantum mechanics is. The amount of people, they have no idea what quantum entanglement is. They have no idea what quantum mechanics is. They think they do. They know like the surface level stuff. They know like it's anyway. So I always found that very interesting that it wasn't until they heard how I know that and how I explained it to them that they started to take me seriously. It took that, which I thought was always so interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's yeah. I I don't know. I wish I could explain why people have these judgments on people, you know. It's
There's a theory that people who judge that way, there's multiple theories. We're not going to go into all of them. Fear
yeah.
themselves because they can't get to that level of open-mindedness or find that courage to explore that avenue. Um, I'm sorry, I find that a lot of people who prejudge actually do feel that. They whether it's jealousy or the green monster, as my friend Lindsay called it, whether it's the green monster or whether it's fear.
Yeah.
Um, Most time people judge because, for example, they judge you, Kim, because they're like, she's so confident in this, and she knows I believe in this, but I can't be upfront with it because of my husband, because of my kids,
Oh
because of my
gosh,
parents. But Kim can
so many
be,
people.
Kim can be, and that makes me uncomfortable. So she, but we don't like to admit that that's sometimes how we think.
Yeah. No,
That's it.
it's very hard. I wish people could be, and I always say like, I'm not going to judge you because of something you did in your past. You know,
Hmm.
if you've learned from if you kept repeating, oh yeah, if it was something
Hmm.
bad and you were harming people,
Yeah.
yeah, and you kept doing it, of course, yes, yeah, obviously. But if you are, if nothing that you're doing is harming anybody, and you
Hmm.
actually see how someone is working, like, yeah, there's mediums who are unbelievable how much like they charge, and they're very opportunistic,
Hmm.
and there's the liar, there's the frauds, there's all that, but know that there
Hmm.
is good ones, you know. And
Oh,
so just don't
yes.
assume that every single
Yes.
one is a fraud, because I guarantee you, if you knew me, you know that there's no way that I'm trying to take advantage of anybody.
100%.
You know, I don't even ask
100%.
for money, or like I don't even ask, like, if it is a paid reading, I don't even ask for it. I don't even like it until I'm done,
Hmm.
because if it's not working, somebody doesn't, something happens or whatever, it's not, no problem. Like, that's fine. I am not
Hmm.
going to take advantage of somebody's grief. I'm not going to take advantage of
Hmm.
someone's situation. But
Hmm.
people need to know that, yeah, not all of us are like what you think, right? Like the news, the
Yeah.
radios,
No,
like there's so many
that's it
spiritual
though.
leaders that are just horrific, you know?
That's it though. And there are the ones that will always give mediums a bad name. That's never going to go away. Even in 20 years, if everybody's a medium, you're still going to get the core group of mediums that are just awful people.
Mhm.
It's never going to go away.
Nope.
Same with tarot. It's not going to go
Nope.
away. Okay? That's the human race, unfortunately. But those people that are good, those people that are kind and authentic and are not scared of being seen, those people, you should be looking at them in a sense of inspiration, not idolship. Don't do that. That's bad. But inspiration, okay? Because it is so, I'm not going to say easy to move from the fear of being seen to being seen, but it takes baby steps. And once you start those baby steps from moving away about, the fear of being seen, moving away from that, moving away from the witch wound into, further into what you want, whether it's, you want, hey, I want to be a spiritualist, I don't want to be Catholic, or hey, I want to try tarot, or hey, I want to take, I want to learn how to connect with passed on loved ones, whatever it is that you want to learn. I want to open my own business, I want to start my own TikTok, whatever. Do it in baby steps
Hmm.
because I know that it's a struggle to move away from that fear. You've got to normalize it and realize that one of the ways that you can move through that fear of being seen is realizing that it is normal to be scared on the avenue you're going, whether it's You want to be a medium. You're going to be scared doing it.
Change is scary.
Whether
The
it's scary,
unknown.
right? Whether you want to start your own TikTok because you want to be an influencer, it's going to be
Hmm.
scary. Normalize it and realize something that most of those people, most of them, also were scared at the beginning, but they pushed themselves to do it anyway. And they probably did it with baby steps. The biggest thing to move from the fear of being seen and to feeling authentically you is baby steps, okay? Understanding what you're actually scared of is it would be helpful. What are you scared of? Being rejected?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
What are you scared of? Failure? Why? Connect those dots through shadow work, and you're going to find out how you can always also step over those fears into getting what you want, right? Start gently, give yourself grace, baby steps, okay? Until your uncomfortability becomes comfortable, right? And never forget that if you're uncomfortable about something, if you're scared about something, about trying something, about expanding, that's usually a sign that that's the direction you've got to go from your soul or your consciousness, whatever you believe in,
Yes.
right?
That's why you have to have
Yeah,
trust.
that's right.
But
Trust is another one. Trust. And you know what? Don't, the one thing we struggle with is validation. And Kim knows because oh my God, I hammer my clients with this. If you are scared of being seen in whatever direction you're going, learn to detach from needing validation from others. Learn from that. Again, baby steps. And you know what? There's so many inspirational women out there. Some we've named, some we've talked about. And there's a lot that, we've never heard about that are on platforms like TikTok, that are, doing Sunday services around the world, that are women. You know, look for these women, connect with these women, because I'm telling you, they are going to be a massive help for you. The community of women that want to help other women is so astounding to me sometimes. Yes, there are women that are not very helpful.
that's in
It happens.
every
Yes.
socioeconomical level. That's
Yes.
like every you know,
Yes.
ethnicity, every
Everywhere. It's
like
everywhere.
it just it's the same with men, you know, like they try to, oh, women, no, men are the same. Actually, men are worse, as far as I'm concerned, because we do have the patriarchy. Ugh, can never even say words, right? So that's how things are done, right? So
Yeah.
reach out to those people that, you know, you might be a little bit nervous, or you're kind of happy with what they do, because then when you have a conversation with them, maybe they'll help you see that there's something
Yes.
in you that can actually get you going, right?
Nine times out of 10, they were exactly where you
Oh
were.
yeah.
They were exactly where you were. So don't be scared to do that. Okay. Don't be scared. Do it anonymously. I've had people actually reach out to me anonymously to ask how to learn tarot because they didn't want me to know their name or where they were messaging from because their boyfriend didn't like it. Their mother would have kicked them out of the house. I kid you not. I have had that a handful of
Mhm.
times since I've been on
Yep.
TikTok. Do it anonymously. Do it anonymously.
Yep.
You will find that support. I'm telling you, you're going to find that support.
I know there's a lot of people that I have come across, of women who will like make excuses to be doing something else to come to church or to come to circle, because they don't want
Mm-hmm.
their spouse or partner or family to know, um, or they don't want, or their family is so based in Christianity that, you know, just the mere thought of these people having tarot cards, you know, like, you're bad, you're awful, and they've stopped doing the things they love because of
Mm-hmm.
the backlash that they get from their family,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know.
That's still common. Even in 2026, it's
Oh,
common, guys.
absolutely. I know people, like,
Mm-hmm.
I know people who are just regular human, you know,
Mm-hmm.
human late women who have nothing but troubles in their family because these are the things that they do. And
Mm-hmm.
it causes oh, it's so sad because they question who they are, they question their abilities, and you know, you need to learn to sit in yourself, or sit with yourself. You need to be comfortable with yourself. You need to be able to,
Yes.
like, be able to date yourself, and you know, do special things for yourself, and talk about yourself and not be embarrassed, not be shy.
Yeah.
Be proud of what you've accomplished and have no hesitation, because your story, because I've said this a million times, your story needs to be heard by someone else.
Oh, yes.
And,
Yep.
talk about it. If these are the things you do, talk about it, because there's someone who needs to hear it to get the courage to move on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's true. That's exactly it. And you don't have to share your whole story.
No.
Okay, but just know that there's somebody out there who will resonate with your story. Probably more than one person who will
Mm-hmm.
resonate with your story and your journey when you want to tell it.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a quote, and everybody knows this quote, but it's my favorite quote. And I think I'm going to say it, and then we'll end it and we'll go into our question because it matches our podcast. But it's one of my favorite quotes, and I used to have it hung up somewhere because it makes me laugh. But it's a very famous quote about Eleanor Roosevelt about women. So some of you are already like, oh my God, I know what Nikki's going to say. You're probably right.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, women are like tea bags. We don't know our true strength until we are in hot water. Which is very true. We all have heard those stories about women lifting cars to save their babies, right? Like, not saying men don't, but this is a woman's episode. So I'm leaving it at
Or,
that, okay?
or the same thing too is people say to me, how can you do that? How did you do that? How can you do that?
Yeah,
And it's like, didn't have a choice. You just rise
that's
up.
right. Sink or swim.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I've
That's
actually
right.
just recently, somebody said, like, I can't believe you laugh about this stuff and you joke about this stuff and like you can do this.
Your past, yeah.
And I say, at one point I realized I could either laugh or cry. And if I started crying, it wouldn't stop. So I want to laugh
No.
because it's really, I'm still here.
Yeah. Life isn't supposed to be taken that seriously, guys, just FYI. Life is supposed to be enjoyed and full of love and fun. Yes, serious stuff happens, but you cannot take life serious every moment of every day because then you're not living.
No,
And that's not why we're
no.
here.
And you should do one thing that scares you a day, they say.
That's right. That's right.
You have a
All right.
question?
Ready for our question?
Yeah.
I do. Okay. This came from Anonymous. Okay.
Okay.
And somebody actually said this to me during one of the lives. I caught it. And anyway, so can you give me some tips on how to stop questioning everything I do? Not exactly spirituality, but I thought it was an interesting question. Tips on how to stop questioning everything I do. Why are you questioning everything you do? First of all, find out why. Where'd that come from? A parent? Were things that you did when you were a child never good enough? Where'd that come from, right? Find the core wound first. That would be my advice. That's something that I would say to somebody. There is lots of times where I've questioned everything I do when it comes to a certain situation in my life, and I do stop myself. I'm like, why am I doing that? Where did this come from? That would be something I would say to you. Is first of all, why are you questioning? Where'd that come from? Think where that came from. That's what I would want to know first.
Yeah. Kind of makes me think of, what is that? What is the quote? It's something about failure, but like, but my dear, if you don't, you don't, oh,
What if
what if
I
I
fail?
fail? And my dear, what if you don't? Or something like that.
What if you
What if
fly?
you fly? Yeah.
But what if I fail? Yeah, but what if you
Yeah.
fly? Yeah.
Too many people put what the bad thing could happen is going to happen. And that's just the manifestation.
Oh yeah, it's true.
So, when you start putting those things in front of you, like Nikki said, like, find out, why is that there? But that's where a lot of shadow work could go into too. Why am I scared to do these things? Like when you were a kid, were you not listened to? Were you usually told to be quiet? Were you, told you weren't going to make anything of yourself? Like, what were you told? And
Mm-hmm.
then I would say, tell me why they're right.
Yeah.
Tell me why they're right. And that'll tell you
Mm-hmm.
why you should not be scared because they are wrong.
No, exactly. No, exactly. Exactly. Find out why and where did you, first of all, why are you questioning yourself with everything you do? Where did that come from? And then to get out of that habit, I'm going to tell you something. When you're about to make a decision, and this is something I've learned from my therapist, when you're about to make a decision, the loud voice in your head, that's your ego because it's screaming at you,
Mm-hmm.
okay? Because it wants control. But that soft voice, that calm voice that you will hear, I guarantee you, you will hear this soft calmness, whether it's before the loud one or after the loud one. That softness, that is what you do because that is your consciousness, that is your intuition, that is your inner knowing. So when you don't know what to do and you're always questioning yourself, usually the first thing that comes in mind is the first thing that you should be doing before the ego sets in. So, for example, if you're questioning whether you want to go to this school or this school, you want to go to this school across the state because that's your dream school. But your parents want you to go to the school in your hometown because you're close to your family. Okay. That little voice inside of you that's telling you, but I want to go there because that's my school. Is probably softer than the one that's telling you, but then you're going to leave mom and dad and you're going to leave grandma and grandpa and then they're not going to be here and then they're going to miss you and then your siblings and then they will survive.
Yeah.
All right, that's just an example. So tips, find out why you're questioning everything. Where did it come from? Why? And the first voice, listening to the first voice.
Mm-hmm.
Because for most people, the very first quiet voice is the right answer. It's the second loud voice that is the ego that's keeping you in fear.
So I think you know this, but I haven't told many people. I am a distant relative of Emily Dickinson. And I want to tell
I
you,
know this.
one of her quotes is finite to fail, but infinite to venture. So it's a reminder that while failure is possible, the act of trying is limitless.
That's right. And energetically, you will be rewarded for trying, even if it results in a failure. I cannot tell you how many times, guys, I've done something and I've fallen flat on my face, only to be rewarded 10 times better a couple days later,
Mm-hmm.
a couple weeks later, a month or so later with something that involved that. And whether that was a job, whether that was a promote, whatever it was, a relationship, I'm telling you, okay, the universe rewards bravery. That's it. That's all that it is, right? But it does take a lot for some people to get there. And we understand that because there are a lot of fears out there still, especially for women. It hasn't gone away, even in 2026. And so take those baby steps. Take those baby steps, get out of the fear of being seen. Taking those baby steps will lead you to your authentic self. And you will stop being scared, I'm telling you.
Yeah. Because
Right?
what your fear is holding you back from so many things. What
Oof.
is it? And just think, what is your fear holding you back from? And then get curious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. And then get curious. That's right.
Yeah.
I love that. I liked this episode. I wasn't sure how this episode was going to go because I didn't want to talk about like I did want to, of course, bring up, some very important famous women, that suffered from the fear of being seen. But I strayed from that because I wanted to talk about how that affects women more so this time and how you can move through that, and whatnot. Anyway, so
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Yes.
I hope you guys really liked it.
Yeah. And, if you've done something that you're proud of, that you were scared to do, put it in the comments or tell us because
Tell us.
don't be quiet about it because somebody else needs to
Be
know that you've
loud.
done it. I know personally for me to get where I am today, I was broken. I was very, very low. It, amongst other things, this came from losing some very important people in my life, from them passing away. And those were like moments that when you realize what it really means to feel heartbroken, because your heart literally feels like it's broken into a million pieces when you lose someone that you love like that.
Oof.
and you don't understand, even if you understand, but like it, in general, for me, like I was broken. I've just felt like there was no hope. Everything was bad, and this is where I am today. So just follow it. Don't be scared, because there's
Don't be
something
scared.
beautiful on the other side.
And we're going to leave it at that.
Hmm. So,
We're going to leave it at that.
like, share, subscribe, hit the
Yes,
little dingy
yes, we're going to leave
thing.
it at that, actually. I forgot. Hit Kim's little bell.
Hit the bell
Okay.
on YouTube if you're listening on Spotify. So they'll give you it'll
Yeah.
when the new episodes come out. I don't even know, what are we at, almost 30? Where are we?
This would be the 29th episode.
Jeez, Louise, hey, look at us. And
I know. I'm
again,
excited.
it was a little bit nervous. Like I was a little bit scared to start this, but
Of course.
but we're enjoying it. Like this was all. This is it. This is a product of, an idea and
Yep.
trusting.
Yep.
So
See?
sometimes it works out.
That was a good way to end it, too. Look at the ways that to end this
Look
one.
at, hey.
It's like 3 perfect endings.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, everyone. We will see you next week. I think we're going to have a guest on the podcast soon. It's been a while, but we'll share that with you guys.
Yeah. We're gonna have to.
When do we know?
Absolutely, we're gonna have to find some people. So
Right.
if you have something, let
There
us
you
know.
go. Yeah, let us know about your spiritual journey. We are going to have people on to discuss their spiritual journey. It will be a fun episode, a couple of guests. So if you'd like to be part of it, email, comment below, DM us on Instagram or TikTok, wherever you are. And we will gladly have you on for a few minutes to discuss your spiritual journey.
Yes.
You can do it anonymously.
Yes. Don't even need a camera. You can change your voice.
That's right. I can change your voice. I can do whatever you want with this
You'll
new
sound like
system.
an
So,
informant, but yeah.
that's right. That's right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you, everyone, so much. Have a fantastic evening, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.